Hello, 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 everyone. Going to get started here momentarily. We're going to be doing yet another live design review. Just going to wait a little bit until people start funneling in. Say hello in the YouTube chat right here. I have it up on the screen. And your lovely comments will show up on this section right here of the screen. So exciting. Very interactive. All right. Once again, we'll get started shortly. Going to let people funnel through. I will attempt to pronounce your names when you say hello. Yeah, see, the first person, like, what is that? Rostislav. All right. I'm horrible. I'm sorry. Hello. Jan. Now, that's one I can handle. Jack. Hi, dude. How's it going? Just want to say I love your review course. Incredibly inspiring. Awesome. Thank you. You're welcome. Hello, Sarah. Wait, no, not Sarah. Sarath, I believe. Justin, Nonk, Giannis, Hassan. Oh, sorry. I was just eating. What's up? I cannot do that name right there. Kevin. Yeah, maybe next time. What's up, Aaron? I got a new chair. I have to adjust to it. Definitely a lot better than my other chair. But what's up? Welcome, Alex, Das, Mustafa. I was going to say anime for a second, but I don't think that's it. Tom Music, what do you do? Do you jam out? What do you play? You play an instrument? Mohammed. I can't do this name. I have no clue. I don't want to butcher it. Yeah, you know, I thought about the name, and it's not quite negative. Although I do try to critique people and help them out. Do I ever take a vacation? Yeah, I do. You know, being self-employed is great. You know, I can get away over the weekend. Last year I did take a week vacation, but I prepared in advance by having 2 videos recorded that would release during that week that is scheduled for release. All right. Yeah, I want to get back into view a bit as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Let's see here. So, first of all of these live streams are made possible by Skillshare. And if you've been following me, you know they've been a sponsor for quite some time. They're not going to be a sponsor for the live stream specifically. Still, for the normal videos, they will be. But coming here in May, I'm probably going to find another sponsor, and we're going to go to 2 live streams per month. All right, because I think just doing one of these live reviews every single day or every single Friday, it's a little bit saturated much. So I could tell we don't get as much participation when I'm doing them every week. But the sponsor, nonetheless, right now is Skillshare, and it's an online education platform where you can learn thousands. Well, I wouldn't say thousands of topics, but they have thousands of courses in UI, UX design, graphic design, web development, and all this stuff. So for this type of live stream, we're going to be focusing on user interfaces for the most part. And so if you're having a hard time, and I recommend going to Skillshare, definitely do that and get your 2 free months by using this link over here. Wait, my hand got cut off there. Yeah, over there. And it's the very first link in my YouTube subscription. You'll get 2 free months, and you can start watching all of this. There's a lot of UI design fundamentals here that's going to help you out for sure. You can't just wing it when you start off. I mean, you can, but it's going to make the process of becoming a good designer much more difficult. So if you're watching this for the first time, this is a design review show where I have 20 plus years experience of doing this, where I give a live critique of your design project. So it could be a logo design, a UI design, or personal portfolio. I'll check it out a little bit. And I also ask the audience here or the other YouTubers in the chat to rate the designs, and I give them my own little rating as well. An exciting animation comes up. All right, so the way you submit is just to click the Discord link in here in the YouTube description, and you join up. You click the review submissions channel right here. This is Discord, and then just go ahead in this review submissions channel, enter your design. It could be a link or just an image attachment if it's a logo or something. And so you can see there's already quite a bit that are queued up in here. So if you want to be thrust to the very beginning of the line or the queue, You can send in a super chat through YouTube. You just click on this little money icon. You click super chat, enter your Discord username right here, and your amount, which is optional up here. A certain amount. I mean, you have to send at least a certain amount, and then hit buy and send, and then we'll be ready to rock. I do accept PayPal, and I'm going to mention that in the YouTube chat. That's Gary@GarySimon.net. Just mention it in the YouTube chat. If you do send a PayPal, mention your Discord username as a description in the PayPal, and I will check it out to verify, and I will get you reviewed. All right. I'm talking fast, but at least I'm not really slipping up on my words too much. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started for the very first one. We'll be doing this for an hour as usual, and I'm just going to come up here. So again, if somebody sends a super chat, they're right next in line. And I do say that if you do want to help out, fuel my alcohol problem, then you can send a super chat to help my Friday Night Margarita Fund. All right, so let's get started. All right, the first one was right here from Aljaz, if that's how you pronounce your name. I'm sure it's not. And you're probably sitting there face palming right now. Okay, let's refresh this. I think there was an animation. I'm a web developer, and this is my portfolio. Awesome. Okay. I'm a self-taught developer based in Slovenia. I love learning experience with new technologies. Okay. All right. I'm just getting a feel for the layout, and I will give my quick review after this. All right. So we have some things that are happening correct and some things that are incorrect. The best part about this, I would say, is probably this section right here. I like the design. It's very simple. You're using visual hierarchy to bring out the fact that you're a web developer in portfolio with the use of contrast. I would say it would be nice to have some sort of navigation or menu that could quickly bring people to the areas that are of interest, like the portfolio or your work and or the contact section. But nonetheless, we come down here. This is fine as well. Nothing really happening that's really incorrect. This section right here is too much white space. I would definitely push this up, at least on this on this viewport. And of course, it doesn't seem like it's very responsive, so you'll definitely want to work on that as well. Perhaps it's a work in progress. The really big not shadows, but the outer glows that you have on this, way too much. I would just get rid of those completely, honestly. It also interferes with these little icons. So again, too much white space here. Same comments about these shadows, the box shadows that you have. Just eliminate those. If you're going to use them, use like the material style shadows, very minimal. And then coming down here, you're going to want to figure out how to create more contrast with some of these elements. Like this React, you can barely see that based on this blue or this gray background. So think about a way to increase the contrast. I did just do a video on contrast a few days ago on the YouTube channel. So definitely check that out. All right, so what do you guys think this person should get for their design? From a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. Let me know in the YouTube chat what you think, and I will... Vader. Okay, so we got a 6, we got a 5. All right, I'm going to say a probably like a 4.8. I don't have a point system, but probably a 4.8. So you could definitely improve that, of course, by just remedying those few situations, like the too much white space. Get rid of these as well. You could bump that up to at least a 6 or more. All right, let's do the next one. There was a super chat, M. Degener. Hopefully you didn't mention your Discord username, M. Degener. So please let me know what your Discord username is. I will look for M. Degener right now just to make sure that's not the actual username as well. All right, let me know what your Discord username is so I can get you thrust to the very beginning. Thanks for the super chat, though. Okay, let's go on to the next one until that super chat person lets me know their actual Discord username. All right, so let's see. Let's come down here. I'm just getting a gather here. Okay. All right. So, looking at this initial part, all right. So, notice how the logo is right here. It's kind of situated right here. Over here to the right, we have the navigation going all the way to the right side of the browser, but you have a lot of space over here, which would ordinarily be okay, I guess, if this was lined over here possibly, but it's kind of thrown to flow of the layoff, because if you go down, this logo is just kind of hanging off to the side, and then it goes over, it overlays, because it's a sticky nav, this area. So this is too big to be a sticky navigation the way you have it. So I would try to condense it up, make it a little bit smaller. If you're going to have a sticky navigation, probably just have a permanent bar that's filled in a solid color, because this gets cluttered right here. You don't want that. Also, try to come up with a more unique illustration right here. I've seen the same thing a million times on other designers' websites and stuff, and try to come up with something that's perhaps a little bit more unique. All right. Coming down here, I mean, I guess this the way you have the shadow on here, I mean, they're complementary colors, and I guess I can't say that, you know, this looks horrible or anything. It does look a little bit too much on these thumbnails, just because of the natures of these thumbnails. Their user interface designs, it looks really cluttered. So I'm always a fan of not having the actual UI as the thumbnail, and perhaps using like a logo or some other way to try to simplify it a little bit more when it comes to the galleries of that stuff. All right, so what do you guys think this person should get for their rating? A 1 being the worst and 10 being the best. So we have a 4, maybe 5. We got a 6, 4, 4, 4.5. Hello, Atif, I don't know. 5, 4, 4. A lot of people are saying 6s or 4s, and I'm gonna say, yeah, I'm gonna say 4.5 for this. Just focus on, if you just integrated the few fixes that I said, this would improve, you know, definitely to at least a 6+. All right, let's continue on. Did that person let me know what their Discord username was? M. Bettinger. I'm looking for you. No. Okay. All right. So let's continue. I wouldn't say 4.5 is destroying somebody, but I mean, that's honestly what I believe. I've done these type of reviews probably over 100 times. Even though this is a 10th, you know, negative space, I've done this a million times, so I'm pretty confident in my ratings. Let's go on to the next one. This is Thick Line. Wanted to make something creative for my portfolio. Ended up with this, Thick Line Solutions. All right, creative for my portfolio. Okay. I laughed because it says, I'm whoever this dude's name is, and this is my web space. I like just immediately thought about my safe space. I don't know why. I'm so enamored into the whole leftist SJW stuff. I see those terms where I shouldn't. All right. Very interesting. It is definitely unique and creative because it's very monochromatic in a sense. Black and white. Let's scroll down here a little bit more. So we have scroll activated animations. Okay. All right. I'm driven to create more. All right. We got this little about scrolling here. We have a custom cursor. Okay, that's interesting. I would do some sort of indicator that you can actually hover over this. Work UI design. All right. Definitely unique. One thing that's just kind of confusing when I get to this part, when it comes to like my work and stuff, it's kind of confusing about like, okay, it says iBeads right here, some of my projects, and then it has like UI design. I would put like a company name or something because you have a company name here, but then it says UI design. I'm unsure of what that is. Fortnite stats, okay. All right. So I'm not gonna, in terms of contrast, everything here works. The layout is a little bit quirky because we come down here, we have this container that's centered right here. Outside of here, we have like a fluid container. Then we sort of have this middle container with certain icons that are right aligned, and then we come out here, and then this is back over here. So it just feels, I don't know, unstructured in a sense. So I would think about perhaps working on that element. But still, this is very unique, and I think it's pretty cool. So what do you guys think this person should get for their UI design? I definitely like it the most so far from the few that we've seen. I'll say, but yeah, what do you think in terms of a 1 to 10? 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. Give him 3. This has a lot of potential. But I'm going to say like a 6.5 maybe, or 6.2. Just because I see a lot of potential and it is very unique. All right, we got another. All right, so Jordan Felder, super chat. I'm sending a super chat, but I can't access the Discord. Well, how can I review anything? Jordan, oh, he did. Okay. Well, what was his Discord username, by the way? Corrupted Pixel. The first super chat dude responded. Let me know what his Discord username is so that I can do that. Also, Jordan Felder, I'm not sure why you wouldn't be able to access Discord. Otherwise, try to figure out how to get the URL in here so it'll actually let you send. Try putting the link on here. If not, try to remove some of the periods from the URL and stuff like that. All right, so we're going to move on until I know... where's M. Bettinger then? Sorry, I should have a better way. M. Bettinger is the randomfool.com. All right, so let's try, because he was one of the super chats. So randomfool.com. I'm going to open this up off the other browser in case I'm being trolled. No, that's just a domain landing page. All right, so, or is it therandomfool.com? If this doesn't work. Okay, it doesn't work. So make sure you try to get the URL to me, man. All right. The Random Fool. I did therandomfool.com. Oh, there it is. Okay, good. This is the first super chat person from M. Bettinger. So let's, what is that? Okay. Let's check this out. Let's refresh this. All right. Oh, look at that. We got a book. I didn't realize that was a book at first. All right. So let's click on About. All right. So it takes you to just a different page up here, I could see. Completely different UI, essentially. Let's go to Portfolio. All right. Let's go to Contact here. So if I click on Home, all right, we go back there. Okay, so I like the creativity, of course, but I'm not too sure that I would completely split up this homepage UI from the main UI that you have when you get to the actual content. But dealing specifically with this, definitely get rid of the box shadow here. The shadows right here just don't work. So you know what? I might do a whole video on shadows. I did a whole video on contrast just recently, and as it pertains to UI. I'm going to do a video on shadows very shortly. because I see a lot of people just overusing shadows incorrectly. So that's the first thing I would work on. If you're going to use shadows, do it like the Google Material way, very minimal. Looking at this, I might want to use different type for this, just for these sections. And let's see here. Coming down, for instance, if we go to portfolio, this is sort of all over the place. These card-based designs that you have, the type is kind of just making it look a little bit cheap. Notice when you hover over this section, you're using this blue color. It almost makes it look like that you highlighted it with your, you left click and then you drag and you highlight things. I would use different colors for that. There's not enough white space inside of these cards. And for some reason you have a little bit of white space on the left and right of this web concept button, but then you have none right here, completely throwing off the flow of the layout, unfortunately. You're one of the cases I would say go back to the absolute basics, watch my free UI design course and other courses out there from other people, and also go to the design inspiration sites like UI Design Galleries or UI Design Inspiration. Just type that keyword in Google and you'll find a bunch of those websites, and just as a practice routine, copy really good solid web designs out there. Just go get in your UI design program, Adobe XD, Figma, whatever, and just recreate those layouts from scratch. And it'll help you build the muscle memory so that when you go to do your own projects, you're going to take some of that good design with you. All right, so let's do a rating on this. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best, let me know what you think. And by the way, telling people, in this case, somebody who is more of a beginner in terms of UI design, the goal is not to be negative, of course, and they're not going to get a high score. But I was right in the same boat, like when I started guitar, like a year and a half ago. I would just play. I thought I did something good, but then a lot of people are like just giving me, some people gave me really bad feedback, like harsh feedback, but still, that's what makes you better. So stick with it though, and you'll get much better. So some people are saying 4, 4, 5, 4, 6, 6, 3, 4, 4, 3, 5 for creative, 4 for execution. I'm gonna say a 3. There's a lot of room for improvement, but stick with it and you'll definitely get there. I hate giving somebody a 3 who just funded my margarita fund with a super chat, but it definitely helps. All right, so thanks a lot. We got another Jordan. I remember Jordan. Let's say hear you. Where's Jordan? Can I put the link on here? What's hear you? All right. So Jordan, let me know what your for some reason I can't access it. That's weird. Let me know your web address. You could send it to me via email, actually, Gary@GarySimon.net. Just send me the web address, Jordan. Put your name, Jordan Felder, as the subject, and then link me in the email, okay? And I'll check it. So I want to get to it for sure. All right. So nothing for review, just contributing to the Margarita Fund. Thanks for their great content. Awesome. Thanks a lot, Mo. Okay, so let's go on to the next one until I hear back from Jordan. Maybe he's going to email me. Let's move some stuff around. We're already at 23 minutes. All right, so let's continue on. I think the next one was New Bad Lunatic. Let me know if I skip anybody, by the way. We got a Figma prototype here that is loading. All right. A lot of people like Figma these days, I'll tell you. Can we just get the hell off my screen? I'm trying to look at this damn thing. Okay. Let's see here. Third page coming soon. So it looks like this is the only thing that we have. Let's hit the play. All right. So it's just a mobile user interface. It looks like it's a audio app of some sort. Okay, so the first thing that's a big negative is these tabs, specifically the tabs right here that are inactive, and the way you've made them inactive, which is good, is to decrease the contrast, but you decreased it too much, so that people would have a hard time seeing this. So I would definitely remedy that, maybe not make it contrast so much, or you can make them all white except make the active tab this red color that you have, this reddish, looks like a reddish orange or something. The search button, the search bar, that definitely needs work. We can see that you have right over here. Yeah, there is a, let me get my ruler tool out just so I can show people. Can I have a vertical? There we go. Look at this. That's the very outer element that's right here to the right. It ends right there in this column. But your menu should be ending over here as well, right against there, but it's not. This right here, this line, this should be all the way out here. And that will really help frame your layout much more. It seems like a minute thing, but these tiny details is what really makes a good user interface. You may also want to change the style of the search. It kind of seems just like too much space dedicated to it. So I would remedy that for sure. Looks like I can't click, but that is my review. So what do you guys think you could be rated for this particular screen? A 1 being the worst and a 10 being the best. Yeah, there's also an issue with what's, you know, the visual hierarchy issue. It's kind of, you're not really sure where to look first, so that needs to be reinforced as well. So I'm gonna say there is another screen, but I have a lot of people waiting, so I don't want to dedicate too much time to one person. So I'm gonna say a 5. All right. Could definitely improve it though, easily. So let's reset that. Easy for me to say though, right? Easily. Just want to make sure. Did Jordan respond? All right, sent it. Okay, good. I'm gonna check my email off screen real quick so I can get to Jordan's, and the next person will be Arnab Codes. All right. We're at just about 27 minutes already. All right. Good. Here's the email. I'm just waiting for the damn message content to load. Oh, it's an Adobe XD prototype. All right, so this is a super chat person. That's why he's being thrust to the very beginning of the line. And let's check it out. Okay, let's full screen that. Okay, so there is nothing to click here. Okay, so it's just this hero section of a landing page. All right, so for what this is, I would definitely say we need work on this section up here. On the home, project, about us, contact. Seems like you would probably want to drop down ideally it would be this sort of contrast right here with the white and this darker color over here as well. So you could take this image into like Photoshop, and you could use the clone tool to get that sort of thing over here and make some adjustments to try to make it unique, or you could use a lot of different tools just to increase the contrast over here, because there's really not enough. I would also space out the links further away from each other based on the current size that they are here. This part, this all works pretty well. I'm not a fan of doing these buttons when it comes to the style that you did with the stroke, and you have like a blur in here. I would probably just get rid of the blur entirely and make the background transparent, and that would be enough. And you can keep the stroke, but with the blur, I think it's a little bit much. But outside of that, I like the use of the photograph. Your type is good. Yeah, pretty solid. I want to make sure I didn't miss anybody right here, or any other screens. I think this is just it. So yeah, what do you guys think this person should get for their hero section design on a rating of 1 to 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best? Thanks, Ninja. So we got some 5s, 6s, 8s, 6, 7, 3, 6, 8, 6, 6, 6, 6, 4, 7, 7, 7, 8, 9. Bronx says 9. For what this is, there's not much here to judge, but for what it is, why there's like a huge space down here. That's annoying me. I would say I would say like a 6.8. Yeah, this navigation is the part that needs most work here, and I think it would be better for sure. I do like the encasing of the UI like that up here in this little container. All right, let's continue on. So I think that's all of the super chat so far. Somebody did just send another super chat. Patel, thank you very much for that. I'm going to assume you don't have something for me to review. So, all right, let's continue. No, let's not continue on. We're exactly 30 minutes. And this means, of course, that I have to mention the sponsor, Skillshare.com. And, you know, today so far in the first half of this review, there's definitely a lot of people who could benefit from joining Skillshare with the 2 free months and checking out the UI UX design section, especially the design fundamental classes. All right, so there's a lot here, especially as it pertains to UX as well. But there's a lot here. For instance, these right here are all great courses because these are popular. And design rules, fundamental principles and practices for great UI design. Definitely check that out if I'm mentioning it. So for sure, check that out and get your free 2 months. All right. Okay, we did just get another, time does fly. Super chat here. Thank you very much, Telfire. Really enjoy your content. Awesome. Discord is Telfire, so I'm going to go find Telfire. We love a review. Please use the buttons as the bottom to switch between mobile, tablet, and desktop. If you're willing to do one, could you just do the desktop? Okay. Yeah, it depends on the time. So we'll see and how much content there is. Okay. Okay, so there's a tab down here. Okay. So there's a desktop version. Okay. All right. Let me go back to this one real quick. This right here, for the mobile version, definitely want to use like a hamburger menu, I would say, honestly. If not, you could leave it like this, but I would remove this person because it's kind of just, there's too much happening here for this to have her there. So yeah, definitely get rid of that because it's just, like I said, you also have a photograph here with this text overlaid on top of it. It's just really, really busy and you want to simplify things as much as possible. And if you're doing this for like a client or something and they're saying, hey, I want my face up the top, well, what can you do, right? But you know, this section looks pretty good. Good title here, subtitle, got good white space that you're using, a good font, good call to action. Probably want to increase the contrast with these. It's a little hard to read that green when it's at a light font and a small font weight like that. Yeah, and this section all looks pretty good as well. Looking at the desktop version, just real quickly to see, probably get rid of this white stroke. You don't need that because you have enough contrast with the darker green versus the lighter green right here. This works a little bit better if you're going to have her face in there because the navigation isn't going on top of her. I would probably increase this part right here, make it at least bold and a little bit larger. You need to space out, you need to separate this text through visual hierarchy a little bit better because we have 3 things. We have the title, which is, this is fine right here. You have a subtitle, which is only a little bit thicker in weight compared to this. So you need to maybe bold this up more, and that way you have a clear separation between these 3 bits of type. So yeah, what do you think this person should get rated for their design on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best? Yeah, well, if this is an actual part of the logo, you don't want a photograph of a person for a logo. I mean, at the least, I mean, at the most you would do is like kind of like a silhouette vector type of thing, simplified. And I don't think anybody's banned here. All right, so we have 3, 5, 5. We have numbers all over the place. We got an 8 all the way down to a 3. I'm going to say It doesn't. It has promise. Very interesting color scheme. I'm gonna say more like a 5.8 for this. Thank you for the super chat though, for sure. Just integrate some of those fixes, and I think you'll definitely improve. Oops, wrong button. The score. You see what I'm thinking about. Let's close that. All right. So who is next in line? God, this is so hard sometimes. I think it's this dude. Yeah. Arnab. Okay. Oh, this is interesting. All right, let's drag this over. Damn it, get over here. All right, awesome. Okay, let's I'm gonna close out some things here. Let's refresh this. Hello, I'm Arnab, a web developer and designer. Hire me. Oh yeah, you're not even gonna let them look at your work first. It's just you gotta hire me already. All right. All right. So I can't scroll anywhere. Let's click on About. Okay. So we got something like a Vue or React that's or Angular that's being used here, possibly. Let's click on Projects. Lorem Ipsum. So this is a work in project or a work in progress. Contact. Whoa, wait, what happened there? Yeah, we can't see that contact form. So I understand, though, that this is something that you're working on. We got to hit exit out of that. There we go. Okay. All right, so first, I like the color scheme's pretty cool. I like this blue right here with the darker blue here. That contrasts well for a container of content. I'm not too sure about this vertical navigation, though. That's one thing I would definitely probably scrap that. You only have 3 links, so you can definitely, you could possibly put them like right up here, 1, 2, 3 in a horizontal fashion, and maybe just kind of make them look like breadcrumbs almost if you want. But so I want to do this. It's you don't want a primary navigation to be vertical, in my opinion. Maybe something that's like kind of secondary, not important navigation, but I would not do it in that sense. That's just my honest take on it. But in terms of the design, if you are going to have this, put it like down here so it's not just like this big open space right here. You have a certain amount of white space here to the left and right. That same amount of white space should be here at the bottom and not anymore. Looking at this part, I would probably add more content. There's just not enough content right here. Maybe add like a couple sentences about yourself to kind of fill up the space more. The Hire Me button, that doesn't go anywhere. The About button here, I would probably structure this a little bit better. Maybe encase this in each one of these like in a little background that makes maybe it's a little bit darker than this purple right here, and with rounded corners, just like to make them almost look like buttons, but not buttons. Just because there's not much happening here. There's not much design in a sense. But yeah, I'm looking at the projects. I would make these more obvious as being an actual like buttons that you can click, because I wasn't sure that I could even click on these in the first place. Cool animations that you have here. Definitely can't read this barely at all, so you're going to want to increase the text size of that for sure. I like the colors. You're doing well with colors for sure, and you know a lot of other things, but yeah, there's just a few things that really you need to do to really tidy it up. Because it has a lot of potential. So let me know what you guys think this person should get for their rating. 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. Yeah, and I think yeah, you should use like a SVG graphic for this, because I can see it's a little bit pixelated here. I'm like spilling crap all over me. I can't even get it in my mouth. Pathetic. All right. So we got a 4. We got an 8. I'm gonna say. I'll say yeah. This is gonna be our highest rating so far. I'll say a 7 for this. Could easily be an 8+ if we fix just a few of the other things that I had mentioned before. So thanks for that. Did somebody send a super chat? All right, yes. Jack Williams, thank you very much for the Margarita Fund. And let's go ahead and roast Jack Williams, who's known as Tamari or something like that. in Discord. Where is Tumari? Where are you at, man? All right, a Nike single page mock-up tried using more vivid colors. Okay. Okay, we'll do the Instagram link perhaps. Will that make it large? No. Well, that's fine. We'll just open original. There we go. Okay. Wait, what happened there? What the fuck? Hold on. Sorry. Let's get this back here. Okay, so looking at this. So it's just an image-based mock-up. All right. This is absolutely terrible. Oh my God, you should just never design again. I'm kidding. You wanted me to roast you, so. No, there's some good things happening here. Let's see. We got the Nike. We have the clothing, accessories. I would scale down the size of this icon a bit. It seems like it's just a little bit too big. This part right here seems like you need to work on the type a little bit in terms of the line height and also the spacing between these elements. I would probably bring up the line height just a little bit to condense that area, and then probably put more white space between these two elements and this element right here. So this white space and this white space should be increased a little bit more. Maybe increase the size of this type just a little bit, as these really do contrast a little bit too much in terms of size. I like this call to action button. That works. I like these icons. Are good size, probably a good placement here as well. Yeah. So for what that is, pretty solid. Yeah, it would be nice. Somebody said too much red. There is quite a bit of red, being that the shoe itself is red. So, like, if you really want it to stick out, you would probably use a shoe that's of a different color that's complementary to red, and then that would really make it stand out quite well. So, yeah, I think that was. Did you send in another one? Let's see here. Yeah. So, what do you guys think that this person was it Jack Williams should get for their landing page design? 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. "42 minutes already, jeez." So we got 6, 7, 7, 7, 7, 3, 3, 8, 7. I can just imagine submitting one of these live designs and then people rating them and somebody telling me I got a 2 or a 3. It's just like, you mother. All right. I'm going to say for this, yeah, probably like a 7, 6.9. If we just fix this part up and that part slightly, I think it would be beyond a 7. But again, there's not much here. I always forget that. I have to switch over before I start talking about certain things in the design. But yeah, there's just not a lot here, though, to critique. But for what it is, pretty solid. All right, next one. How many hours do I work per day? Probably not enough. Let's see here. Let's go back up and find the last person that I need to get to, because I don't think we have any more super chats. So, please read. No. Okay, so I think we're on to this one. Hurley. Let me know if I skipped anybody. Oh, we have an animation. Again, I'm just letting it load off screen. All right, let's refresh. What's happening here? There we go. Nice little loading. We got a video-based background here. We're going to come down. This is Toby. He's a web developer. I've coded these a lot. Proficient skills, all right. Okay, so there's some things happening here, right? And then some that are wrong. I'm not a fan of using these two different 100% contrasting colors, or not colors, but white and black, for like a headline and a sub headline. I would honestly stick to just one, just because it clutters it up visually unnecessarily. So stick to one or the other, probably preferably white instead of black. So I would make this white. The find out more button, I mean, it does contrast well. I probably, what does find out more do? Okay, so I would probably just have like a little scroll indicator instead. Make it clickable, make it animate maybe to let people know they can scroll down. These hamburger menus, when it comes onto the desktop version, which is what we're on, it's advisable to not have to make people click on a hamburger menu, because it's an extra step, which is, you know, it's bad for UX in my opinion, and a lot of other people agree with that as well. You don't have like a million different links to where you can't fit them all in anyways. So I would probably just put them out, make them immediately accessible. Outside of that, the layout here is a little bit all over the place. So what I mean is we have this section right here where you have 2 columns. And by the way, you have Toby Stewart here. This is a nice size, but you have web developer, which is only a little bit smaller, and it's also only a little bit thinner in font weight. But so there's not enough separation visually between these 2 elements to really separate them. So what you should be doing with that type of type is, oh, okay, I just changed it on both of them. Let me undo that. So we could do like a font weight 300 here. There we go. So now we separated them out more, but it still should be even a smaller font size of like 1.4 EM, and then margin bottom of like 30 pixels. And unfortunately, you have, I see what you're doing with the CSS. You have, I forget exactly what it's called. It's like a mask where you're wrapping things around here. I wouldn't do that. Stick it just in a column that starts right here, like, you know, on a column, instead of wrapping it around that sort of the image that you have here. So coming out, then, yeah, so you have your 2 columns here. This part's fine, but then we have centered right here. This content, I think it needs to be rethought. I would left align things and maybe even restructure everything like this. Trying to think, maybe if you're about me, maybe move this over here into 2 columns, and having all of your contact information right here seems kind of strange. People want to know maybe just the about me stuff, and you could put this stuff like in a footer or in about, or in the contact me section. So let's come down here. I would get rid of this. I have coded these a lot. I would just completely get rid of that text. This is fine the way you have these laid out. The basic skills where it says work in progress, yeah, definitely. Well, you're going to remove this anyways. Too much happening here, simply because you have this overlaid container here where, you know, the hope is that people can see this type right here by contrasting with the thumbnail, which is fine. But I would probably make that even more, not as much opacity. It's just bleeding into the background image a little bit too much. Then you're having issues with alignment where you have these 2 starting here on this column, and then you push this over about 30 pixels right here. So it's throwing off the flow. Not enough white space. You have a lot of white space here, but then at the bottom of the document and demo buttons, there's like a third of it. So small things like that are going to throw off the flow of a layout. So definitely work on that. All right, so what do you guys think this person should get for a rating on their design? 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. Is there anything left in this? Six, 6.5, 6.9. Yeah, I'm going to say this is a solid, I would say this is probably, yeah, solid 6. Yeah. So just improve that things. You have to work on your alignment and things like that, and restructuring some of the content. So thanks for the submission. And where the hell did my Discord server go? There we go. All right, let's continue. I want to make sure nobody else has sent a super chat. just because I don't want to miss. Okay, good. So we're going to be doing this for about 10 more minutes, and I have to end abruptly at 10 because I have to go see my dad in the rehab center after that stroke from a month ago. Yeah, it's already been 30 days or 32 days, I think. It's crazy. That was Hurley, right? I want to make sure. I don't want to skip people. I think the next one. Oh, yeah. Okay, that was. Okay, cool. All right, logo for a startup. Also, if possible, rate my website. All right. Cortex. Okay, this is pretty solid overall. Yeah, I would definitely say this is solid. I like it. You have the very subtle highlights here that I see that are in white. The O, these are colors that work well together. Yeah, I like this. I'm not going to really say, I'm not going to do a rating just because it's a logo. But this is pretty solid. I like it. Very good stuff. I will real quickly check out your website. I like the type. I like this typeface. I'm going to choose what font. What font is that? It's Google Sans. I like Google Sans. Maybe I'll start using that instead of Montserrat. All right, so simple contact. What's contacts? Yeah, I would not make this plural. I'd just say contact. This is good right here. This is a great example of having 3 bits of text that are all styled differently and done well. I really like this. This is all good. I would probably have more white space between these elements, these 3 columns, just because there's a lot of stuff here, a lot of type. One thing that's throwing me off just a bit is what the hell? Where you at? You damn thing. It's not showing up unless it's up here. Oh, there it goes. So we have this amount of white space between here and there, which is like right there. I should probably flip this. Yeah, there we go. What is that like? It's like 6. Does that say picas? I can't even see. And then we have this amount between these 2 elements, which is like 9 or 8. Yeah, or 9. So you want a more even amount of white space. I would probably push this down just a bit further to be more equal with this amount of white space. This all looks good. This all looks good. Yeah, this is very solid. Very good. Let's do a rating for this. 1 being the worst, 10 being the best for this particular UI design. I like it. Yeah, a lot of people like this one. It's very good. Good use of colors. Yeah, I'm going to say an 8 as well. Very good. That's our best one so far. All right, let's continue. 53 minutes. We could do a few more. Redesign for the Audi website. So we got a Behance page here. Click the projects. Well, I'm not going to probably do much more. No, that's cool. Very cool. Yep, that works. All right, let's do the next one. Got a Audi site here. Looks like car. I'm looking at the chat right here. Don't have enough to go through all these sections because there's a massive amount of stuff occurring here. So first of all, one thing that throws me off, this car being right next to the text. No, move this damn thing over here to give yourself space. Take the line height in more because there's too much, in my opinion, right here. The no more button, these 2 elements are left aligned, and then you have this centered. Don't like that. Put this to the left. Put more white space. Push that over more because it's a little bit too close to the side. This little car icon, too much over to the left, too much space between a lot of these elements right here. Condense those. Coming down here, get rid of the drop shadow the way you have it. It's just, you know, make it much more subtle than that. You need to put a lot more white space within this container right here that contains the text. You have this pushed up way high to the top, and then you have a good amount right here. This amount should be here on the top as well, because this especially does not look good the way you have that. So what do you think this person should get for their UI design? I'm trying to move a little bit quicker just because we don't have much time, and 2 super chats came in. Please don't send any more super chats because I won't have enough time. So 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. Let me know what you think. 10 years old. Wow. Well, it's good to start young, that's for sure. Yeah, for this, I'm going to say like a 4.5. Just because there was a number of issues that definitely need to be remedied. All right. So we had a super chat come in. Student here, I'd love to see your thoughts. It's ILS8. Thank you for the super chat very much. ISL8. All right. ILS8 rather. So it's not a big project as the others, but here's a really quick design I did a while ago for the daily UI sign up form challenge. I did a concept for a fake website that teaches piano. I played piano for a while. Okay, so let's look at this. I like the here, let me scale this down just a bit. I'm gonna increase this just so we can see a little bit more. All right. Yeah, I like the colors here. I like the subtle, what is that? Dribble? No, I thought it was like the Dribbble logo back here, but I like the subtle watermark. Why we're better, I might want to left align that right here and make it a little bit larger just to contrast more with the labels. But other than that, this is all really solid from what I see. This down here, I mean this, not down here, but this form, a little bit hard to see. I would probably make the username, email, and password, those the placeholder values, make those contrast more with this white background so that it's definitely obvious. I like the fact that you made them into this the piano keys. That's very creative. Everything else is really solid here. So yeah, this is very good. I would say, yeah, what do you guys think this person should get as a rating for this? 1 being the worst and 10 being the best. Very cool. Seven, 7, 8, 7, 7. I think this is better than a 7 because it is very solid. Only just a couple things. I'm gonna say a 8.2, an 8.2. That's our highest rating today. Very good. All right. So I have time for one more. Don't send in a super chat, anybody, because I'm gonna not be able to do it because I have to get out. There's a meeting at the rehab clinic for my dad, speech and stuff. So who is next? Oh God, I hope I don't forget. The Audi website, Discord redesign. All right. Wait, if it's an SVG though, I'm not downloading an SVG. Fine, we'll see if it loads up well. Okay, we'll do this. I will do it. This is our last review. Don't send in a super chat. When am I doing this next? Next Friday, week from now. All right, so Discord redesign. All right. Yeah, gonna have to say a negative on this one, only because, okay, so you have this dark background right here. And you have each of these panels really contrasting a lot. And when you have a lot of panels that are contrasting so much and they're so close together, it creates for clutter in a sense. There's a lot happening. I mean, if you look at Discord itself, you'll see that they do have panels, but notice how little they contrast between each other. And this is obviously a dark UI, but this could also work as a light UI as well, with a light background with very, you know, light grays separating the UI. So that's why I would advise against doing that, the way you have these contrasting so much against each other. Also, you have some issues here, for instance, where it says their name, and then you have today at 12:02 a.m. It's quite small, and it's tucked up very close to the Ann Williams or to the person's name, and you can barely even see it, and that creates clutter. So you're going to want to push things down and away from each other when it comes to spacing out your type. Also, hardly any white space in between here. Like, look how close the icons are against this right there. You actually did it right here. This section, you have a good amount of white space, but then look at this. That's throwing off the flow of the design because you're creating inconsistency in your application of white space around there. So yeah, there's definitely there's potential for this, but you have to work on the small details in terms of the color and contrast, as well as your spacing and how all that stuff is played out. So what do you guys think this person should get for a rating? 1 being the worst, 10 being the best, and this will be our very last review. Four, 6, 3, 4. Yeah, I'm gonna say probably like a 4.8 or 4.9, maybe a 5. All right, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed that. It's been an hour and 1 minute already. I have to get out of here very quickly. My dad is doing better with his stroke that he had like last month, 30 days ago now, but still screwed. Yeah, like he's going home this Tuesday, and he's going to have a walker. And he walked perfectly fine. Well, I shouldn't say perfectly fine. He kind of had like a little bit of a limp. He's 72. But, you know, he's going to have a walker. People were, for at least the next few weeks or indefinitely, we're not sure. We have to actually be there with him when he's on the walker. So it's like strokes will fuck you up. So what's the moral of the story? Be healthy as possible. He had some bad habits, you know, like drinking throughout the last like his whole life practically, and that can lead to it certainly. But also high blood pressure. Make sure you get your blood pressure checked to make sure it's not just always elevated, because that'll kill you. Make sure you eat well. And I never really ate enough vegetables myself, but damn, now I am now. Shit. I'm also active. I've always been active, though. I love running. I ran a marathon last October. I go to the gym and I try to lift, and I used to be a lot stronger. But yeah, I'll shut up now. So yeah, I will see you guys quite soon. So again, probably have at least 2 regular videos next week on the YouTube channel. And that's going to be changed into 3, by the way, every other week. Because Skillshare, they usually sponsor 8 of my regular videos, but they're going to do 10 now. So on Fridays or Thursdays, you can expect, or 2 of the weeks, you can expect 3 tutorial videos based on some topic. All right. So, all right, guys, I'll see you later. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.